If you've glanced at any bestseller list over the last, say, 5 years, you have definitely seen this book, Atomic Habits. It has sold a staggering number of copies. We're talking nearly 20 million, all by promising a really simple, proven way to build good habits and, just as importantly, break the bad ones. All right, let's dive in and see what this whole framework is about. So, it all starts with a question that, let's be honest, every single one of us has asked ourselves. You know the drill. You set a new goal, you feel super motivated, and then, poof, it just doesn't stick. Well, the book argues that the problem isn't you, it's your system. And it all kicks off with a number that seems almost laughably small. 1%. That's it. This is the core idea of an atomic habit. A tiny, almost unnoticeable improvement. We're talking about doing just one push-up, reading a single page, meditating for 60 seconds. On any given day, these choices feel, well, they feel insignificant, right? But this is where the magic really happens. The math on this is just incredible. If you get just 1% better each day for a whole year, the compounding effect doesn't just add up, it multiplies like crazy. You end up nearly 38 times better than when you started. James Clear calls this the compound interest of self-improvement. It's powerful stuff. But, and this is a big but, there's a catch. Progress is never a straight line. For weeks, maybe even months, all your hard work might feel like it's doing nothing. This gap right here between what you expect to happen and what's actually happening, that's the valley of disappointment. And this is the danger zone. It's where most people give up, right before those amazing compounding results are about to show up. So, how in the world do you push through that valley? Well, the book suggests a pretty major shift in how we think about progress. While most of us are obsessed with setting goals, Clear says, forget about the goals. Focus on your systems instead.
Okay, so what's the difference? A goal is the result you want, right? Like winning a championship. The system is the process that gets you there. It's what you do at practice every single day. Just think about it. Every team in the league wants to win the championship. They all have the exact same goal. So the goal itself isn't what separates the winners from everyone else. The system is. This quote right here is one of the most powerful ideas in the whole book. It basically means our big ambitions are less important than our daily routines. So if systems are the real key, how do we build better ones? Well, it all starts by understanding the science of our own behavior. And that brings us to something called the habit loop. This is the neurological feedback cycle that is running every single one of our habits, whether we realize it or not. It's a simple but incredibly powerful 4-step pattern that's always playing in the background of our lives. So here's how it works. First, there's a cue, which is just a trigger. For example, your phone buzzes. That cue triggers a craving. You get this little urge to know who messaged you. The response is the actual habit. You pick up your phone and check. And finally, the reward. You satisfy that curiosity. Cue, craving, response, reward. That little loop is what makes habits so automatic. Now here's the cool part. Once you understand that 4-step loop, you suddenly have the power to change it. And the book gives us a super practical toolkit to do just that. It's called The 4 Laws of Behavior Change, and each law is like a lever you can pull to mess with one step of that habit loop. And here is the blueprint, and it's just beautifully symmetrical. To build a good habit, you need to make the cue obvious, make the craving attractive, make the response easy, and make the reward satisfying. And what about breaking a bad habit? You just flip it on its head, make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. It's a universal framework you can apply to pretty much anything. Let's just zoom in on that first law for a second. Make it obvious. A fantastic technique for this is something called habit stacking. The idea is you don't pick a random time for your new habit. You actually link it or stack it on top of an existing one. The formula is super simple. After I do my current habit, I will do my new habit. For example, after I make my morning coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. See? Easy. Now, Law 2 is all about making habits attractive, like pairing something you want to do with something you need to do. But let's jump to the third law, make it easy, because there is a technique here that is an absolute game changer. It's called the 2-minute rule. The whole idea here is to scale your ambition way, way down. So read 30 books a year becomes read 1 page. Run a marathon becomes put on my running shoes. So why does this work? Because a habit has to be established before it can ever be improved. You're not trying to achieve the final goal at first. You're just mastering the art of showing up. But, mastering the art of showing up,
leads to what I think is the deepest, most powerful idea in the entire book. All these laws and techniques, they're really just tools. The real goal isn't just to do different things, it's to become a different person.
You see, most people try to change from the outside in. They focus on the outcome they want, the result. But Clear argues that true, lasting change has to work from the inside out. It has to start with your identity, with your fundamental beliefs about yourself. And this, right here, is the ultimate takeaway. Every single action you take is like a vote for the type of person you wish to become. When you write just one sentence, you're casting a vote for I am a writer. When you do one push-up, you're casting a vote for I am an athlete. You're not just changing your habits, you're literally building the evidence for your new identity. And that really just leaves us with one final question. This isn't about overhauling your entire life tomorrow. It's about casting one small, tiny vote today. So, what is one 2-minute action you can take right now to start becoming the person you truly